Hold on to your hats, folks, because what I'm about to tell you is a tale of deceit, betrayal, and scandal. Brace yourselves for the most dramatic story you've heard in ages. In the year 2015, something truly shocking happened. Something that rocked the very foundation of the automotive industry. Volkswagen, one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, was caught in the middle of a massive cover-up. This wasn't just any old cover-up, mind you. We're talking about a whopping $30 billion mess that affected millions of cars and sent shockwaves through the entire corporation. The scandal was so huge, it left Volkswagen's reputation in tatters and left the public reeling in disbelief. Can you even begin to fathom the sheer magnitude of the disaster? It was a real mess. But on a more positive note, have you checked out the Jetta TDI Clean Diesel? It's super tidy and sleek. Volkswagen started a clean diesel campaign that suggested their cars were environmentally friendly. But it turns out that wasn't exactly true. Clean diesel was more like a sneaky lie. They said they had a fancy mechanism called SCR technology, which transformed dangerous pollutants into safe chemicals like nitrogen and oxygen. But it was all just a bunch of nonsense. The reality is that these pollutants, like nitrogen oxides, can cause respiratory issues like bronchitis and asthma and even contribute to smog. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency set a strict limit on how much NOx, a nasty air pollutant, diesel vehicles could release per mile. They said it had to do no more than 0.07 grams, and Volkswagen was like, psh, no biggie, we're releasing less than 0.04 grams. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But then 3 brave students from West Virginia University put their investigative skills to the test and tested 2 Volkswagen diesel vehicles. And boy, were they in for a shock. They took 5 different routes in and around some of the California's biggest cities, San Francisco, San Diego, and LA. And you know what? Every single time, those sneaky Volkswagen cars exceeded the permitted levels of pollution. Can you believe it? Picture this, 2 cars, Vehicle A VW Jetta, and Vehicle B, a VW Passat, were found to have NOx emissions that were way higher than the EPA's requirements. I'm talking 15 to 35 times higher for Vehicles A and 5 to 20 times higher for Vehicle B. Yikes! At first, the names of the cars were kept secret in the newspaper, but were since found out that they belonged to none other than Volkswagen. And get this, a graph shows that the emission regulations set by the EPA are represented by a green line at the bottom. The 2 Volkswagens were way above that line. But wait, there's more. The scientists who conducted the study also tested a third car, a BMW X5, and found that it only had a slight increase in emission during a mountainous journey. The scientists started to have suspicions that Volkswagen was up to no good. But they were afraid to say it out loud. Accusing one of the world's largest automakers of cheating takes some serious guts. You know what I mean? Well, it turns out their suspicions were right on the money. The study was commissioned by a nonprofit organization called the International Council on Clean Transportation, which forwarded its findings to the EPA. And you won't believe what the EPA found. That Volkswagens were spewing up to 40 times the legal limit of pollutants. That's right, folks. Not only did Volkswagen mislead the regulators, but they also misled their customers who thought they were buying eco-friendly cars. It is a real scandal, and we're all left wondering, how did they manage to deceive everyone? Okay, let's put on our detective hats and crack this case wide open. So it turns out Volkswagen was up to some sneaky tricks. They installed a secret software, also known as a defeat device, that could tell when the car was being tested in a lab and when it was being driven on the road. When the car sensed it was in the lab, it would behave perfectly with emissions below the EPA's limit. But once it was out on the road, it would turn off the Cadillac scrubber, a fancy contraption that reduces harmful pollutants like nitrogen oxide. Sneaky, right? The University of Michigan's Professor Anna Stefanopoulou revealed that the car's computer sensors would monitor the steering column to know if it was being driven on the road or not. When the car was on the road, the steering column would wobble as the driver made turns, giving the defeat device the cue to turn off the Cadillac scrubber and release more pollutants into the air. But wait, there's more. The West Virginia University researchers found that when they took the VW cars on the highway, they produced way more pollutions than they did in the lab. So not only was VW lying about their emissions during lab tests, but they also were deceiving customers who thought they were driving eco-friendly cars. The scientists didn't outright accuse VW of cheating, but it was clear that the cars were performing exactly how the automaker intended them to. It wasn't an error or a mistake. VW had deliberately installed the defeat device to deceive regulators and customers alike. So, after the scandalous discovery that VW had been cheating on emission tests, you'd think they'd come clean and own up to it, right? Wrong. Instead, they freaked out and decided to deny any wrongdoing, claiming that the tests were flawed. But a California Air Resources Board, CARB, wasn't buying it and decided to conduct their own test. Of course, VW still had some tricks up its sleeve and blamed the results on outside air pressure and varying routes. But here's the kicker. VW claimed they were going to upgrade their engine software for diesel vehicles starting in 2009 to reduce emissions. Sounds good, right? No. They recall actually improved the software's ability to recognize when the car was being tested so it could cheat even more effectively. The emissions did go down after the upgrade, but still exceeded the permitted limits. So, what did the California regulators do? They got suspicious and decided to test the emissions after driving for just 23 minutes. And what did they find? Nitrogen oxide emissions had increased just 1 minute after the end of the typical test cycle. At this point, VW had run out of excuses and finally came clean in September 2015, admitting that their diesel vehicles had been fitted with software to cheat on emissions tests. But wait, there's more. It turns out that VW had been hiding this cheating for years, despite knowing about it all along. Talk about a crazy cover-up. According to the Securities of Exchange Commissions, VW's top brass was in on the scheme as early as 2007, and they kept it up for years, even as other car makers were caught cheating on emissions tests. Eventually, the jig was up. VW had to recall all 11 million of its cheating cars, which was a huge pain in the tailpipe and cost the company a buttload of money. They even had to cough up a whopping $30 billion in fines and settlements. That's a lot of cash, even for a bigwig car company like VW. In the end, a bunch of VW execs got the boot, including the CEO, who swore up and down that he had no clue what was going on. But everyone else knew. The cat was out of the bag and VW's reputation was in the dumps. So after the whole Dieselgate scandal broke out, Volkswagen was feeling the heat. Their sales dropped by 5% in just 1 month. Yikes. People were whispering that VW was done for. But they weren't going down without a fight. Instead, Volkswagen managed to bounce back from the crisis and make a comeback. They didn't let the scandal stop them. No way. They got to work on offering electric and hybrid cars to show their commitment to the environment and win back customers' trust. And guess what? It worked. Volkswagen became the second best-selling automaker in the world, right behind Toyota in 2022. They even have plans to outsell Tesla in electric vehicle sales by 2025. Talk about a comeback. So there you have it, folks. Volkswagen $30 billion mistake, and undoubtedly one of the biggest scandals in the automotive industry history. Let's hope that the automotive industry learns from Volkswagen's mistake and works towards more transparent and sustainable practices in the future. With this, we have come to the end. Do let us know in the comment section below, like this one. Subscribe for more content and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to smash that like button and also press the bell icon to get notified about our new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.